Good evening, and welcome to this, our 96th edition of Burlington and Beyond. 96 shows, stretching for 100. We have another wonderful guest tonight, someone who is very close to the town of Burlington, who will tell us a lot about her particular part of Burlington. Larry Way here is my co-host, who will be peppering Marge with questions. Marge McDonald from the COA, the director of the COA, has been gracious enough to join us here tonight, and we are going to find out about all that she does and maybe a little bit about some of the problems and whatnot that she has to face every day. Well, not problems, but things that she would like to see improved, I'm sure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it very much.
And Pat, if I could add too, that I'm hoping tonight's going to be very informative to people in the town. I think that a lot of people just don't know about all these services, especially for themselves or their mom, their dads, what's available in the town of Burlington for them to help them out. And I think it's going to be a very important show tonight. I'm hoping it's going to be. So we can start getting some of that word out.
Before we do that, let's let Marge introduce herself.
Absolutely. Sorry about that.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to get this job and how you... Go ahead.
Okay. So I was a little bit late going back. I went to school after I got out of high school and was kind of floundering. So I took some time off, got married, had a daughter, and then realized that I better get myself back to college so I could support my lovely child. And went for human services. I had wanted to be a social worker when I was in high school, so I kind of went back to that and had to do some internships. And my second internship was with the Cambridge Council on Aging at the Senior Center. And I loved it. I loved working with the seniors. I ran a craft group, and there was a couple of ladies that had dementia, and I just absolutely loved working with them. And I kind of, with that first internship was like, that's what I want to do. And then I went to go do the work at the Council on Aging in Cambridge, my second internship, and worked on their transportation program, helping to kind of get that off the ground, which was very exciting. And then from there went on to Somerville Cambridge Elder Services, where I did some case management, and just absolutely fell in love with all aspects of helping seniors who needed help. So with that, my first job was working at Minuteman Senior Services in the Information Referral Department.
Would that be in Lexington?
It's actually in Bedford now. Bedford. It was in Lexington, went to Burlington, and then to Bedford. But my eye was always on, I wanted to work in a senior center. And I lived in Billerica at the time, so my eye was Billerica. And I was going to graduate school thinking that would better place me to do this, and my Girl Scout co-leader sent me a little teeny square of a ad saying this might interest you, and it was for this job. I said, well, I'm not ready, I don't have my master's yet, but let me apply and see what happens. And lo and behold, I got the job. So
terrific.
Yeah. Very exciting.
And you've been here now in Burlington as head of the COA for? 17 years. 17 years.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of change.
I've seen a lot of change. When I first started working here, seniors still tended to come to the senior center and spend the day. They'd come in the morning and then they'd leave in the afternoon. They'd have lunch here. And almost immediately as I started working, that started to change. Not through anything I was doing, but just the demographics of how seniors live today.
Yeah.
And now they come in for activities and they leave.
Yeah. But they continue to change. Even now, today, looking at the town, we talked a little bit about it early, and that is a lot of these big homes that are, I'm not sure, maybe you have a handle on what happens to these senior people when there are so many big homes that are being built in Burlington. I don't know where these people...
The seniors they're going to apartments, they're going to senior housing, they're passing away. A variety, going to live with children, going to assisted living.
Yeah.
Just kind of the natural progression of getting older. a lot of those old slab homes that are now being torn down were, people in the 50s, 50s and 60s moved in
Right.
when they were just, newly married, and
Yeah.
they now they're going on to their next phases in life.
Yeah. Do you feel Burlington is changing now, still?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
It is.
But I
Has-
think every town is changing. I think it's just a natural.
yeah, it's natural. But your population, the people that you serve, is that growing?
It's growing and it's changing. Seniors are working longer. So if they're going to do anything, they're going to do it at night. Or if they're working part-time, they'll come in and then they'll leave again. But they're, I just lost my train of thought, sorry. They've definitely changed in how they come to the senior center, what they're doing. They're taking recreation classes, they're taking our classes. They're busy, they're always doing. One of my favorite quotes, and my own mother has used the same quote, is, "I don't know how I had time to work." Because everyone's just so busy.
Does your programming change with what? I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of basic things, but do you add or subtract according to usage, according to?
I try, yeah. Sometimes you'll get something that there's only a few people going to it, but they don't want it to end, and it can be very difficult to kind of pull that rug out from under people. But there's also just a natural kind of death of some programs that they just, I'll put something in. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, great. We have a couple programs that we're trying right now that were really, really popular the first few times, and now they seem to not be quite so popular. So we just have to kind of play with things and see.
I suppose they're trying them out too to see if. Go ahead, Larry. I'm sure you've got some questions you would.
Well, I hesitate just because it may be very informative, but that's what we're here to do, right? Before I do that, I'm just interested in what you said. Is that the seniors used to be just dropped off at the senior center for the day and then picked up at the end of the day. And right now they come just for an activity and then they go back. So what happened there? What's the nature? What would you describe that changed?
I think it's the personality of the seniors themselves. Things were slower, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And people, the seniors would come in the morning and they would, have their coffee and their pastries, and they would do exercise class, at least in Burlington. And then they would have lunch, and then there'd be an afternoon activity, and then they would hang out for a little while, and then they'd go home. Or they'd be volunteering, doing things. It's not anything that we're doing. It seems to be sort of a trend now that the seniors are busy, and they're picking grandkids up from at the bus stop or from school, or
so seniors
they're
are
doing other things.
A little more active and have more things to do than what they may have had in the past. So I guess that's actually a healthy trend.
Yes.
For seniors.
Very much so.
Let me ask you this then, if we can get to the meat of it then. Let's just say I've just become a senior. Now, how do I get hooked up with the activities and what is to offer? I'm not even sure right now, Marge, what Senior Center has to offer seniors. Would you mind running that down and then get into how one gets involved or takes advantage of the activities and programs that would be offered through?
So when you turn 60, you will receive the newsletter from us within a few months at least, if not on that same month. We get the census every year from the town clerk, so we know who is turning 60 and when. Little big brother going on there.
Big sister.
Or big sister. So you get the newsletter. Whether you read it is up to you. We like to start at age 60 rather than 65 because there's a lot of information that kind of comes through over time. Not every single page is full of information that someone who's 60 or 61 really wants to read, but it's information about Medicare and scams and things like that in the newsletter. So you start to learn what we do and how we are through that newsletter. That's like your first introduction to us. We offer activities, and we offer programs and social services.
So to get connected, you really need to read that newsletter to find out if there's something there that you could use or be part of
Right.
or participate in.
A lot of times we'll have children who call us and say, my mom really needs to get out of the house. Is there, do you have anything? I've also had, I have literally gone to a wake, introduced myself, and the daughter says to me, oh, I know who you are. I was just reading your column this afternoon. So, and I was a little bit taken aback, and she says, oh, I read it every month, so I know what my, there is for my mother. So I think there's some
That's
of that
got to be
as
a
well.
good feeling.
Yes, yes. So I think there's some, I think some children do come and they read that newsletter and they say, Mom, you got to go.
But to really find out what additional services that you might be able to hook them up with, and I'm assuming that might be part of what you do. Do you really need to sit down with the social worker to go over what your needs might be and see how they could be? Is that really what you'd recommend?
That's what I recommend. And we often like to come and do a home visit if it's possible, so we can see how you're living. A lot of times people will come in and they'll say, oh, everything's great, everything's fine, and you walk in the house and it's falling down around their ears, And there are a lot of resources out there.
So how does one do that? If they would like to, who would they call to get somebody to come out and either visit or them visit the senior center?
So they can call the outreach workers. The best thing to do is to call the main number, the 270-1950, because they'll know who's in the office. We have 3 outreach workers. There's Brenda Pappas, Andrea Cross, and Audrey Allen.
Do they have specialties, or do they all cover the same ground or territory?
They all cover the same ground, but some of them are a little more versed in certain things. Andrea's done a lot of housing issues, or not a lot. She's done a couple of really intense housing issues. So we now kind of throw all the housing stuff at her. Brenda's a Shine counselor as well. So if we have somebody who's having some insurance.
Shine means.
So Shine is the serving health insurance needs of everyone, used to be elders. So helping people enroll during open enrollment, helping people who are having issues with anything with their insurance.
Is Shine a state program or funded by the state?
It is a federally funded program.
Funded.
Yeah.
Can I don't remember having received your letter when I turned 60.
I wasn't here when you turned 60. Or you would have. When I came...
Who had the program before you?
Her name was Jean Garrett, and you actually had to call and ask for the newsletter. And when I came, and it wasn't computerized, so...
Same building?
Yep, it was in the Union School where the police station is, and she was the one who got it moved over to the center school.
Do you advertise in your newsletter to call for an appointment?
We do it here and there. If you put it there all the time, we probably should have it at the bottom of Brenda's column. If you put something there all the time, people don't see it. So we tend to kind of rotate things out and put new things in. Otherwise, people just, they just blank on it.
And so what will people learn, if I could just ask, what will people learn about through the interview process? What will they gain from it?
So
could you kind of run down the programs that they'd be introduced to?
Yeah, it depends on what their problems are. So if they're having trouble just making ends meet, the outreach workers will help them fill out an application for fuel assistance and SNAP, which used to be food stamps, and help them kind of, and get them the money off of their electric bill and their phone bills and stuff like that, and help with all of that. And just try to kind of get help to make it a little bit easier to make those ends meet. There's other options. There's worst case scenario, moving at, selling your house and moving into senior housing. But there's things in between that are also available. If someone can't
That'd
make
be a
ends meet.
different department, senior housing, though, right? You would just refer them.
We would help them fill out the
Understand.
application and sometimes give them a referral as well.
I would like to have you walk through the new building and tell us how the same building, but all of the changes that have been made there.
Okay.
What exactly?
So before we did the construction, we had 4-5 5 doors that people kind of came in and out of. Not a very secure building at all.
Yeah.
In this day and age, a little nerve-wracking. We now have 2 doors that are open, and all of the other doors are locked. So you have recreation, and you have the main, what is now considered the main entrance, which is on the left side of the...
Yeah, it's the one that has the new walkway.
Yes. So that's on the left side of the building, on the Grandview and Grandview Commons side. So you walk in that way, and you come in, and on your right-hand side is the COA office, where you can ask for directions to where you need to go, which we've never had before. One of the biggest complaints we had was that you would walk into the building and you had no idea where you were going. So if somebody was coming to Board of Health, they didn't know where they needed to be, same with veterans or
Even recreation.
recreation, community life, all, your youth and family now. So the whole downstairs, you have recreation stayed where they were, but the rest of downstairs is all of us, as it was before. But we've moved the receptionist and my administrative assistant down to what is now the front of the building, and kind of moved ourselves around within the what used to be our office suite. So we have more space now. Again, my outreach workers were in very small offices, and that doesn't allow for a lot of privacy when you're sitting next to the wall, and everybody can hear you, and it keeps everybody out of the offices, so that people aren't just sitting there waiting, and listening.
Right.
So you recommend the home visits, a little more privacy there.
Yeah, but we have enough privacy now too that people, it's much better than it was.
Oh, good.
So upstairs, Youth and Family has moved out of the upstairs where they were, and they are now down the street at 33 Center Street. And Board of Health is moved where Youth and Family was, which is basically
Okay.
right above our suite.
Yep.
And
Are they back there now?
They are back.
They were here for a little while.
Yep. And many seniors know where the nurse's office was for the Board of Health, the very, very end next to the elevator. Veteran Services is there in that
Yeah.
suite now. And then we have the rest of the upstairs, except for the gym, of course. And we have a very nice activity room upstairs. So they took Veterans Services offices and part of Board of Health offices and broke down the walls in the front of the building and made that into an activity room for us, which is bright and cheerful and really nice space.
I walked through there, and it is exactly that, bright and cheerful,
Yeah.
compared to the way it was before.
What
It's
type
really
of
good.
activities, if I could ask?
So
Activity room, but what type of activities?
we run our more moderate size kind of events. I had a speaker, our lecturer, come in who is also an actor, and she did like a reenactment of something. And I was nervous because we don't have a system, a microphone system up there. I'm like, oh, people aren't going to be able to hear her. But it just, you could just hear it so well. And so I think, if you have something with 30 people or less, it's a great space. We've had music up there. We've done the reenactment. We have our Indian lunch on Wednesdays up there.
The big room, the one that the Sons of Italy uses, is it's an ideal room. It's perfect for, big of it. I see them in there doing exercises
Yep.
too in there. Yeah.
Yeah, we do exercises in there. We also utilize the recreation gym for exercises. It's our most popular program at the center, actually. And then we actually have 2 fitness rooms upstairs. We have what's going to be the cardio room, and then we have what's going to be the weight room, which has not been set up yet, but that will happen.
Do you have access to the field? Do you use the field at all?
We don't use the field at all, no.
Okay.
I use the track at the high school.
This is a critical question, and I know that my wife and friends are watching. Are you going to refurbish the bocce courts?
That is recreation.
That is recreation. Okay. Oh, it has nothing to do with it. Okay.
It is not me, it is
I have to get
recreation.
hold of one of the people over there then
Yep.
to.
I would imagine that they will,
Yeah. Well, they've got a lot going on there now. They have. When I drove by it, they had, I don't know, tools or.
Right, so
storage.
it's, one of the bocce courts was given up for a generator, a whole building generator.
Yeah.
So if the power goes out, we can actually shelter people So if it's, like, if the power goes out for a blizzard and the temperature drops to 0 degrees, we can bring people who need it to the center to shelter. Or if there's a big event or anything and power is lost, we have the ability to shelter people. Also very nicely is that we will not lose our phones or any of that stuff like the rest of the town will if the power goes out, so we can remain functioning. And also, I think really important with the population that we have in the building, you don't want to lose your power.
How do you come to find out about people who move into town who can use your services?
So that again is the census. So we get the census every year, and they would pop up on the census, and we redo our mailing list for
and
the
then you try
newsletter.
and contact them?
We don't have a way to really kind of tell when we have new seniors moving in specifically, but they will get the newsletter in September after they move in. A lot of times they've been hooked up with their own senior center, and they'll know to hook up
Transfer
with us.
over
Yeah.
because they know a little bit about it already. Yeah. Do you get any state support?
Yes, we get we get what they call the formula grant from the state, and they've tried to change it to the word allocation, but it just didn't quite stick. So when I first started working for the town, we got about $10,000 from the state. This year, I am expecting about $65,000 from the state.
Great.
So it's been a huge
Wow.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah, they, $12 an elder. The governor actually was the one who made that happen. We were pushing to get $12 by the 2020, and he was like, "Oh, let's just do it this year." So
It's an election year, so.
Do
I'm
you
sorry,
see
you stay out of
change?
politics.
no, he's actually been very, very good to the COAs. He's the only governor that's really kind of said, "You guys exist, and I need to help you."
That's
So-
a big change
Yeah,
to
well,
that.
that's
Yeah.
huge.
Do you see a change in Burlington? The demographics of Burlington?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess what I'm getting at is, do you sense or do you see older people moving out?
I see older folks moving around within Burlington.
Within Burlington?
Yeah, moving out of Burlington is not that affordable. Property taxes are higher in other towns. So even if you move to a town with lower property values, your property taxes still go up.
Yeah.
I had met a former Arlington fire chief who had moved from Arlington to Burlington to downsize, and they were looking to downsize again, and he said, "I can't. This is as low as I can go because there's no other place where I'm going to get lower taxes." So we've kind of got everybody kind of trapped
Yeah.
in Burlington, but we have new apartments going in that will up on Corporate Drive that seniors can move into as well, which
There are also some in the 19 and a half project.
right.
I don't know how many are in there, and I'm not sure if they're affordable or...
Yeah, I don't know anything about the 19 and a half. I know more about the
We
Corporate
had
Drive one.
Kevin Duffy on here. This was a while ago, and I'm hoping to be able to get him back so that we can ask him specific questions about what they're going to have in there.
Let's go back into some of the services. I know that you recently were given a bus from gift by, who was that given to?
Millipore.
Millipore. And what type of transportation services does Burlington offer their seniors?
So we drive people for medical appointments, mostly within Burlington,
In the bus or?
in the bus.
Okay,
Yep.
well.
We bring them to the senior center, and we take them grocery shopping.
And this is all just for a simple call to the senior center, I need a ride. And you're
24 hours in advance, at least.
Okay.
It's hard to get those medical rides during the mornings. It's easier in the afternoons, but we try to accommodate as much as we can.
Okay. And do you work with the fish people, the Friends and Service Committee?
We refer people over there when we can't.
If the bus is too
Provide.
crowded or busy, then
Yeah, we'll
we
refer to fish.
Okay. And anything else? Any other way that you help people get around in the town, help seniors get around?
That's really the biggie.
The bus and the fish.
Yeah, those are the two. We don't have a lot of cab service. There's the Beeline, of course, which is not as useful for seniors to use. So they've become much more dependent on the bus. on our buses.
So that's probably because it's more useful. The B line is probably not as active as
Right. So we actually have 2 buses. So one does the medicals and one
2
does
buses. Wow.
brings people to the senior center or takes them grocery shopping.
So really, any needs for transportation, a senior could get help through the senior
Yep.
center. It would all be calling that same main number,
Yep.
which is again,
270-1950.
okay.
Yep.
Do you, you have a lot of activities. I hear this from my sister-in-law and from my wife, especially when they're doing their calisthenics. And there are leaders in those groups. Are these people that you hire that lead these
Yes.
groups? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And other than, what else what other kinds of activities do you offer?
So we have the 2 exercise classes that happen
Yeah.
in the morning. We have line dancing, Tai Chi. We have a quilting group. We have knitting group. We have mahjong. We have bridge. We've been on hiatus with bingo, but we're starting bingo up again next week. We have, we bring in singers, and we actually have one of our newer programs is a sing-along twice a month. Just a
Is
fun
that,
sing-along.
Oh, God, I know her.
Well, Sue Magliosi
Yeah.
does a sing-along that's a chorus, and they actually perform. But we also have what we call casual karaoke, which is just singing along. And Rose Magliosi, who is Sue's niece by marriage,
Right.
she actually puts it up.
You really
Yeah.
know a lot of people in Burlington.
I do. I do.
I mean, by first name basis too. I mean, I'm sure you meet them every day and
Yeah.
whatnot. Your staff is here. Are they all Burlingtonites, pretty much?
They are
or-
not all Burlingtonites. The nice thing is that my outreach workers are not from Burlington, so you don't have to worry about somebody telling so and so your problems.
Yep.
They're all outside. They'll live in other towns, so I mean, even if they did, whatever you tell them is, they're not going to. But you don't have to worry about them knowing, if you're having a problem with somebody, they're not going to
Yes.
know that
Yes,
person. So.
it's just impersonal enough so that everyone gets along well.
Correct.
Yeah. The parking that we talked about a little bit in the front of the building.
Yes.
Is that coming soon?
That I'm
Because
hoping-
I go up there whenever I go up there. It's tough to get a
Parking
spot.
is crazy. I'm hoping they're going to start, in the spring as soon as possible. We're going to gain about 40 new spaces, which
Wow.
will be nice.
That's good. You won't be able to have the, not the yard sale, but the sale of, what do they call it?
Oh, the farmer's market.
Yeah, that's
they
gonna
didn't
be
do that
that's
last
moving
year.
permanently over to the new building.
Oh, okay.
The front of, oh God, the hall, the big
Town
hall.
hall?
I can't think of the hall. Yeah, right next door.
Okay.
They're going to be there permanently, I guess.
Okay, I hadn't heard
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Well, that's where they moved to. So
Okay.
probably. Yeah. The range of programs that you have that you just talked about, all of those have leaders, or some of them have. Does it depend on?
So my exercise classes, I have paid paid instructors because I don't want anybody getting hurt. Things like mahjong and bridge is just kind of volunteer led, and they lead it themselves, and they organize it themselves. So that we put it on the schedule and we let them do what they want with it, pretty much.
Go ahead, Larry.
And then you have some special functions. You occasionally have some cookouts, and tell us about the senior prom.
Oh, senior prom, my favorite. It's my baby.
Senior prom is terrific.
Yes.
Absolutely
You were
terrific.
a king one year.
Yes, I was a king one time.
Yes.
The only time I was a king.
Although your wife is always a queen. So we do a senior prom every year, which is, it's wonderful. We do it in prom format, so it's not just a dinner dance. We do superlatives, and we have a king and queen.
And so when is this scheduled for?
It is scheduled for the first Thursday in April every
Okay.
year. I've gotten some heat for that because Passover sometimes falls on it. But it's, when you look at the calendar and you try to figure out when you're going to put something in, it doesn't happen when something else is happening. It's just easier just to say, this is when we're going to do it, and that's that.
You know what the nicest part of that is? The young people that are there literally serving every senior that comes in
Yep.
flowers, and they're just wonderful. I'm really impressed with them.
Yeah, we have the It's the Interact Club that comes in and helps us with that piece of it. Rotary used to do their winter dance, and Interact would help with that. So now they help, and I asked if they would help us with the prom. So, and I fundraise for that to keep the prices low for the seniors so that everybody can afford to go.
I was even
great.
very impressed with John Petrin, dressed in a tuxedo.
Yes.
We missed this last time because my wife wasn't feeling well.
He
but the
missed
one
it too.
before-
He had a meeting.
Pardon me?
He missed it as well.
He missed it as well.
Yeah, he had a
Okay.
meeting.
So for the next senior prom, it's what will Paul Sagarino be wearing, right?
What will Paul wear?
There we go.
No, if Paul will be there, just be there.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it
a
would
whole
be
nother-
That's
nice.
kind of a requirement of the administrator, right? Show up at the town.
At the senior prom?
Right. So if I were to ask you what type of activities are happening tomorrow, would you know? Would you be able to cite a few things?
Yeah.
I don't blame you if it's on the spot, so.
Nope, we have
ahead.
an 8 o'clock exercise class. We have a 10 o'clock. We have two 10 o'clock exercise classes.
Two
And,
different types, or?
Yeah, one is a little bit more intense than the other. And then we have the Indian lunch as well as the Minuteman congregant
Indian
lunch.
as American Indian or Indian?
Indian as in continent of India,
okay.
or country of India, India.
So a little spicier.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's at lunchtime. Anything in the afternoon or evening? Anything else?
We don't have
happening,
anything this Wednesday afternoon.
But seniors will still kind of hang out there, will they? Or
There'll be a few. Oh, actually, no. We have a bereavement group that we have that
bereavement
comes
group?
at 2 o'clock. We had the farmers market up until just before Thanksgiving. Leahy sponsors free produce, 50 shares of a CSA, and so that just ended. So we haven't been doing a lot on Wednesday afternoons, but we'll be picking that back up.
What's the bereavement group?
It's a group that meets once a month for people who have lost a loved one. It could be a spouse, it could be a child. Although sometimes losing a child needs a little bit more intense.
Do you get
group than that.
requests for programs
All the time.
all the time? And what do you do? Weigh them and see if some of them
Yeah,
are
I mean-
reasonable?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm thinking in terms of the population. I know you have a significant Indian population that comes in, and there must be an Italian connection, probably an Irish connection, but they come together pretty well.
yeah. The Indian population's been a tough one, to kind of integrate. But I think as the generations kind of fold over and move on, I think that'll be less of a
Yeah.
concern moving on. But that's why we have the Indian lunch now, so that the Indians that are in town that still don't speak English really well and aren't that comfortable, that they can still have that
Yeah.
time together.
Do they ask for particular programs or any of the others?
They have asked for movies, which we did for a little while, and then they just started talking through them, so that kind of went by the wayside. Again, one of those great ideas that just didn't quite work out.
Anything else coming up this week?
So we have the police holiday dinner on Thursday, which
Police
is
holiday dinner?
Yep, we have that's an annual dinner that the police throw for the seniors.
Oh, okay.
Already filled up, so don't call and ask.
Okay.
But
That's good to know.
yeah, it fills up very,
Good to
very
put it out there.
quickly. Yeah, but a wonderful afternoon. We have a full turkey dinner that the police provide for us.
Wow. Do they provide information too to the seniors, or
We
is
have
it just the dinner?
not.
or is-
It's just the dinner, so there's nothing. There's no ulterior motive.
This is at the center? Okay.
Yep. And we do have we have a police liaison, Lynn Reynolds. So if anyone ever needs to talk to a police officer, not making a report, but just having concerns, that they can always talk to Lynn.
What do you do for shut-ins, if anything?
We get them hooked up with Minuteman Senior Services, who provide cleaning and meals and grocery shopping and bathing if they need bathing.
So they have people who come out and will do that. You notify them and they send people out. Right?
Yes.
Are there many shut-ins in Burlington?
I'm not sure the actual numbers. I know that about 44 meals go out each week to seniors.
Wow.
And that's through the senior center or through
It's
another group?
Minuteman pays for it, but it goes out of our kitchen. And some of those people are not fully homebound. Others are, so it's hard to get a handle on how many people are not. And sometimes people can't get out, but their kids are taking care of them, and so we don't have a good, handle on the number of people that can't get out of the house.
You mentioned, early on, you were telling us about how you came to be in this field and that you very much enjoyed it. What exactly do you enjoy about it?
People. I like helping people. One of my greatest joys is when we have I'm hitting my microphone, sorry. One of my greatest joys is when we have a program, like Dan Clark, Singing Trooper, comes for the Christmas program. And I see the faces of seniors who have maybe lost a loved one, and they're crying, or they just have a glow about them as they remember the good times and the joy on their faces. And that actually will bring a tear to my eye. I mean, that nothing brings me more joy than bringing them that joy. That those moments are the highlights of my
That's really
my
nice.
time. It's funny because I'm a crier anyway, but it's funny how I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna cry this year. I'm like, sure enough, somebody makes me cry. But it's just being able to do that for people and make them happy and bring those, even if it's just a few moments of joy.
That's terrific.
Or knowing that
It
people
is,
care,
yeah.
somebody cares about them.
Do you have a wish list?
Oh, mile long, mile long. I need my two biggest needs are I need more hours for one of my outreach workers because my outreach workers are getting slammed right now. There is so much work. People need help, and of course the holidays are always a little bit harder. But and
You get involved in the programming for the week, and then there's the aspect of who do I have to contact, or the people, not only people who work, but people who are out there who need attention.
Yep. So the outreach workers, they do some of the programming. So we have a memory cafe, which is a program that meets monthly, and we provide activities for folks with Alzheimer's or dementia and their care partners. And so the outreach workers actually take care of that program. And there's a couple other things they take care of. But mostly the program itself is me. The outreach workers take care of folks who need help, who are in dire straits or just need a little helping hand. My other big wish list item is a program coordinator who can organize these activities and bring people in and organize it and schedule things and be there to assist day of, because that all falls on me.
Do you ever get calls from the police or the fire about someone that, and can you help them?
Yes.
People that, whether they're older and are they, they're locked in or whatnot.
In crisis, yeah. We get them from the fire department a lot. I've done a lot of training over at the fire department, and the police will let Officer Reynolds know if there's a problem, and then she'll let us know, and we'll work with her if it's something that the police are involved in.
That is really commendable stuff. It really is. That really is holding the whole community together, bringing it, worrying about everyone. That's just terrific.
Well, my philosophy is I don't want anyone to fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
And if we can prevent that, that's huge.
That's hard.
people should not be falling through
25,000
them.
people, not to mention the, when the crowd, of course, I don't know what happens when the work day comes in. I don't think you have any, are there people who come to the Turnpike to work that find their way into?
Not really.
Not really, no. I would think they're
No.
probably busy.
They have their own, but we have over 6,000 seniors in town now, so we're
6,000.
a good chunk.
Yeah.
What did it
That's
used to be 10 years ago?
10 years ago was probably 5,000.
Okay, so slow, steady increase.
Yeah, I mean, there's been an uptick in the last couple of years that I've really noticed.
Now, I thought just a couple years ago, 1 or 2 years ago, we just increased a staff member from half-time to full-time. Didn't that just recently happen?
It wasn't that recent. Trying to think. No, it's been a while.
2 years ago, right?
I think I added.
Okay, maybe 3. I think
Yeah.
you were funding one of them.
It was probably my outreach. Yeah.
And now you wanted the town to fund it. It's being funded through a grant, right?
Yes. So the person that it's my second outreach worker, and she was. I was just trying to increase the hours. We got them up to 19 hours, so we need more hours again. Because again, it's
Really?
we just keep growing.
Are you planning to ask town meeting for that increase?
Yes.
Can you predict what? Well, you should, because it's budget season, right? That needs to be done next few weeks.
Yes.
What kind of an increase do you anticipate asking the town for?
Probably 6 hours.
What percentage of the budgeting? What percentage of an increase in the budget?
Oh my gosh, like very little, I think.
Okay, because we were
Maybe
told to be
2 or
prepared
3.
for some large increases. But we're talking like less than a percentage.
It'd be probably more than a percentage, but it's not going to be more than 2 or 3, I don't think.
Okay, so still modest, but it's still looking to meet some of the additional needs that the town now has based on the
Correct.
changing population.
The big problem we're going to have is that increasing this person by 6 hours will then make them benefited, which, as you know, is always contentious.
It used to be, but that all gets paid out of another budget, so it's less contentious. I had tried to make it so that each department would pay for their own budgets, and you'd see it there, so that everyone would know what a employee costs there. But I guess that got turned down. Still don't think it's a bad idea, but if this works, we hope you do get those increases. They
Thank
sound
you.
like some wonderful programs. If I could ask you to share, Marge, what were some of the more heartwarming stories, if you have any, that come to mind that makes you
Reading my
glad
mind,
to?
that's exactly what
So
I was going to ask you.
we've had a lot. I think one of my favorites is an older one, where a woman had come when she was 60 to the senior center before my time, and she wore a back brace. And by the time she was 90, she was active and exercising, and
Wow.
she didn't wear the back brace.
No more
and
back brace.
No cane or anything.
That's progress.
That is progress, yeah. We just, we have a lot of really great people that come to the center and are there every day, and we see them all the time. And you don't have favorites, but we have a lot of really wonderful people that we really enjoy having, and we get very
You do
attached
like to root for those that are working to help themselves and better their own situations.
Yep. Yeah, we had, we've had some folks that are, about to lose their home, and we've gotten them housing, and
Those have got to be great stories. to
yeah,
remember.
those are very hard. It's very hard to get people into housing in an emergency, but we've worked really hard. I've had some folks that I've had for a very long time, and to see kind of a fix to the problem is really nice. It's hard
mean
because you
they've
can't
been-
talk about the specifics because it's.
They've been coming to the center for a long time.
Or we've been working with them, not necessarily coming
Yeah.
to the center. Some of them we've been coming, and some of them we've just been working with.
Yeah, I can tell you about 2 that I know. Well, one is incapacitated at the moment, but my sister-in-law I know has been there. She's been constantly. She's every day or every other day. I'm not even sure, but I know she always goes. She goes and then she stops by to tell her sister who she saw and so had said hello. It becomes communal. Now,
We had somebody who had a heart attack, and they were told by their doctor if they hadn't been exercising every day at the center, they probably would have killed them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I bet you've I bet you've had a lot of good experiences with. You get to see a lot of course, they're older people, but you still get to see a lot about human personality and the way they interact. Even for example, an Indian with an Irish person or an Italian person, do they get along? How do they get along? And I'm sure that there are times when there's a little bit of irritation.
Or a lot.
Yeah, well, it's normal. It's
absolutely.
human. I don't think you have any. Are there any problems? Are there any not problems, but are there kind of like part of your wish list?
Yeah. There are issues. I mean, you're always going to have issues. Right now, it's because we locked the back door, and the seniors who are handicapped can't get to their, they have to walk farther than they would otherwise, and they don't think about the fact that there's actually benches in the hallway they can sit and rest for a few minutes. And I get it, it's not that easy to walk down a long hallway, but it's change, and people don't like change. So I'm trying to think what would be on my wish list, except for those two, positions. We just need more funding, and not funding from the town, and not funding from the formula grant. We need more funding to help with activities. So,
Do you need more types of grants? Or do you need like a Friends of Seniors?
yeah, I mean, friends
People to get involved.
Yeah, or
to
just
help out.
more community members, helping us get money to do, musical things and things that bring the folks in. Parties and music seems very frivolous, but that's what gets people in, and it gives them good feelings and makes them feel better. And
Do you ever go over the list of people who are in town, those who have lived here for a while and those who have just moved in, who have particular skills that they might want to?
See, we don't have that information. We don't know
Okay.
what skills people have.
Okay.
There's no list of skills.
Yeah. The reason I say that is because Winchester, I don't know how they do it, but they do. And they were the ones that contacted me, and I ended up teaching French there for 6 years. It was a good experience. I don't know. I don't know if there are any people here in Burlington who are interested in that sort of thing. That's a little bit
If anybody is
particular.
interested in teaching a class, especially if it's volunteer, please let me know.
Okay. I have to get
Could we put
permission
up her
from my
name
wife.
again?
What was that?
I wanted them to put up your name on the screen again. Who
Oh.
to contact if they.
That'd be
have,
Marge
anything
McDonald.
That's good. Okay. Occasionally they listen and put it up.
So you're
Not
on the
always.
lookout.
Yes, I'm always on the lookout.
Okay.
Yes.
Pat, I was saying it's the end of the political season, so town Republicans, if they're looking for something else to do, could
I think it's
possibly help
something-
raise some
I
money.
think you were the one that was looking for a job. I'm too busy. I can't.
Well, then I went to Raytheon. They made me walk 1.7 miles during that time frame for the interview. So I think my walking problems had been cured, or the knee problems, and I had to hide it too.
That's quite a bit.
So if people are willing to help raise money for the seniors, and to contact Marge McDonald at 207
270-1950. Yeah.
1950.
Yeah, I mean, I can raise money without having a friends group, but I have to be specific. But I mean, other people can raise money for me, and then donate it. It's not
Would they need to start like a 401c3 or
not necessarily.
just?
No, it could just be we
just
want to
be
raise money
friends.
and then give it to the seniors.
Okay.
That's
But
doable.
the monies that you got from the state was pretty significant. What you were telling me before.
Yeah,
about
and they're also very strict about how you use that
how
money.
you use it. Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. It's funny because I actually have trouble sometimes thinking, okay, how am I going to actually use this money?
That has got to be frustrating. I've got the money and I can't use it.
Yeah, I got to figure out where they're going to let me use that money. Yeah.
They actually check.
They don't, but it doesn't mean they
But
wouldn't.
you don't want. You don't want to
And I don't
convince them
think-
that they should check.
I don't think the town accountant would let me do that anyway.
Yeah.
But no, that'd be unethical.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Tell me about your staff. The people
I
that are
have
there with you.
Great staff. I love my staff. So I have the 3 outreach workers who are amazing and miracle workers. I have 2 bus drivers, Michelle and Patty, who are very caring and go out of their way to help people. Patty is 30 hours and Michelle is 20. And then I have 2 receptionists who work part-time and kind of job share. Joyce and Lynn, when you call the center, that's who's going to answer the phone.
Okay.
And then I have Debbie, who is my administrative assistant and
she's
makes
very
everybody
good.
toe the line and do everything that they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And she's the one with the whip,
Sounds
which
like
is
a
great.
good program coordinator too.
Yeah. she does do some of it, but that's a job that seems to be a little bit scattered for us.
Is almost everyone part-time?
Yeah.
You're full-time?
I'm full-time.
And-
Brenda, the outreach worker, is full-time, and then Debbie is full-time.
Okay.
Everyone else is part-time, benefited or part-time unbenefited.
Okay, a couple last questions I could think of since we have about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
I had also heard of a program where if somebody needs some help with their in-home fire alarm, that they can come to you and ask for assistance. And
Yep, we do.
You
We
can
run that
arrange that
program
for
in the
'em.
spring. Yep. We've been doing it in the fall, but we changed it to the spring. So in the spring, everyone look out for that. We'll have that in the news when we get
newsletter.
there.
Well, that's important. These are a lot of like unassociated activities that you're providing for seniors.
Which is why people have to read the
I
newsletter.
guess they do. Or else, sign up for that interview so you can
We also
start
have
writing things down.
besides the Memory Cafe and the bereavement group and all that, we have a program called Bridges Together, which is an intergenerational program. So our senior volunteers go into the schools and work with children, and there's actually like curriculum that is followed, and they have a wonderful time, and they get to know the kids, and the kids get to know them, and it kind of bridges that.
At the elementary level?
Yep, 4th grade. Yep, which is
Great.
it's a wonderful program.
And now if I could ask you to try to compare Burlington Council of Aging with other towns. Do almost all towns have a council on aging?
Every town has a council on aging. And sometimes, as in Winchester, the senior center is not run by the town, but is run by a private organization.
Okay.
Sometimes the town also runs the activities. Every town is different, and they all have different personalities, and every council on aging has a different personality.
Do you know much about the Winchester Council on Aging?
I know a little bit about it. Yeah.
Is it about the same type of thing? They offer the same type of services?
They have a lot of the same services, yes, but
Okay.
they are privately run. The Council on Aging, although they are in the same building, the Jenks Center is run by the seniors themselves.
So they could have different rules than we would have ourselves.
Correct,
Yeah.
and they have a lot more money because it's the seniors who are
They do.
running it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Do you get involved in excursions?
So I have a volunteer who does that. Long ago, I decided to take myself out of the trip business. I think the friends groups mostly run those. What happens is there's an ethics issue with the trips because they offer the people who are running the trips a free trip.
Right.
We can't accept those because they're worth more than $50. So I decided at the very beginning, I'm not getting involved in this. I don't want my staff having to say, I can't accept this, and then what do you do with that free trip? And it was I just didn't want those ethical questions.
what would the free trips be? What that would cost over 50? Where are we talking?
We're talking even just something simple as going into Boston, because you've got the bus and then you've got the actual event. I mean, there's no trips that are less than $50 a piece.
It's a lot of responsibility involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
Lord forbid if there's an accident or anything, it
Right.
just goes
So
on forever.
Ellie O'Connell, who used to be in charge of the Beeline,
Yeah.
she runs the trips. That
Oh.
we put them in the newsletter. They're on the board,
Yeah.
but she's in charge of them.
Mm.
So it's just a separate entity.
You mentioned that you bring some of you visit with the children, the program that you were just talking about a moment ago.
Bridges.
Isn't it? Yeah. Do you ever get the high school kids involved in anything?
Yeah, we
There's
do.
a lot
yeah.
of good talent there.
I actually talked to the principal last June about having some of the high school kids come out on Wednesday afternoons when they get out of school.
Even like tech,
Exactly, to help
yeah.
people with their tablets and their
Yeah,
phones. And then I got sick and went out on leave, so I haven't been able to get back to him on that. But that's my hope for January, is to start back on that and have this high school kids come out and help the seniors on Wednesday afternoons when they get out of school, because we're open until 7. And so people hopefully will be able to come in and get their questions answered, me included, because I don't know everything my phone can do.
Yeah.
Earlier you talked about the policeman's afternoon lunch or...
The holiday dinner.
Okay. Are there any other holiday events coming up for
We
the
have the
season?
singing trooper coming on December 15th
Is
at
that
1 o'clock.
Sue?
No,
No,
the
she's
singing
the info-
trooper, Dan
Oh,
Clark.
I'm sorry.
Singing trooper.
Oh, okay.
They'll be performing?
He'll be performing. That's our big.
Very
That's our
interesting.
big holiday event.
December 15th. What day does that fall on?
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay.
We're down to 1 minute and 20 seconds. Is there anything that you would like to say to the people out there, especially the seniors, that how to contact you if they're in doubt about anything? Or?
If you need help or you want to offer your services to the center, just give us a call, 781-270-1950. Ask to talk to me or whoever answers the phone. They can kind of divert you where you need to go.
Okay.
Yeah, we're right there. I want to thank you very much, and I'm sure Larry
I
does
thank
too.
you too.
Thank
I
you for
think this
having
is
me.
a
Very, very
very,
info-
very good service.
This visit only means that 1 year from now you have to put it on your calendar, so you'll be
Okay.
coming back.
I'll come back.
We want to keep abreast of everything.
I'd love
that's
to.
going
Thank
on.
you.
And we're going to be checking that senior newsletter to make sure that
Yes.
that date is on that newsletter.
Okay.
Say that you'll be reappearing.
All right.
Update us
Absolutely.
too, because it sounds like there's some additional changes coming on. That's great. Again, thank you. Pat, who else did we have coming up on the show?
Next week, next Tuesday, is going to be Jim Doherty from the assessor's office. I have a whole host of people that I'm waiting for confirmation.
And then we're still looking at our 100th show.
And we're looking at a 100th show, which will be around the 15th of January.
So people have to stay tuned.
People definitely have to stay tuned to find out who, just like we found out a lot about her, they want to find out a lot about who we are that have been running the show and what we've been doing and what we've been up to. And that's 100 shows, so I think we should have a lot to say.
Stay tuned, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.